One Zambia, one nation. Good evening and welcome to the news on TV2. My name is Nabwali Aflahakis. Let's take a look at the headlines. 29 parliamentary electoral petitions have been filed in the Lusaka High Court. President Edgar Lungu has fired Emmanuel Chulubanama as Permanent Secretary for State House with immediate effect. 22 families in Nyengo area of Sikongo District, Western Province have been displaced after fire swept through their houses, destroying property worth millions of kwacha and foodstuffs. My name is Nawale Vlahakis, and now the details in the news. 29 parliamentary electoral petitions have been filed in the Lusaka High Court. Petitioners have disputed the election of the declared members of parliament. The parliamentary seats petitioned include Kasama Central, where losing UPND candidate Sibongile Mwamba has contested the election of PF's Kelvin Sampa, and Itezitezi, where PF's Grefford Monde has disputed the election of UPND's Herbert Shabula. PF's Stephen Masumba has also petitioned the election of UPND's Elliot Kamondo as Mufumbwe MP. Former Defense Minister Richwell Siamunene has also petitioned the election of UPND's Gift Sialubalo over the Sinazongwe seat. Former Home Affairs Minister Davis Mwila has also petitioned the election of Jewis Chabi as Chipili MP. Losing Sinda UPND candidate Levin Goma has also petitioned the election of Masao Sotembo, an independent area MP. Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court has set Wednesday as the date when it will pass a ruling on the application by the UPND for the court to have custody of ballot papers and other elections materials. This is in a matter where UPND President Hakainde Hichilema has challenged the re-election of President Edgar Lungu. The petitioners have also asked the court to keep custody of the election materials pending the outcome of the petition. When the matter came up, the respondents' lawyers argued that the demands by the petitioners are vague, as they have not specified which place, town and building they would want the election materials to be kept. They said the petitioners are putting the court in an embarrassing position of making a vague order directing Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, to deliver election materials to an undisclosed place. They wondered why the petitioners want the third respondent to stop the verification exercise of ballot paper forms when it is mandated by law. The respondent further argued that the demand by the petitioner is not legally tenable because ECZ is not only allowed to have custody of the materials but also to preserve them. But the petitioner's lawyers argued, saying ECZ should not be allowed to keep custody of the election materials because the petitioners have raised accusations against the institution. The court has reserved ruling on the matter to Wednesday. The Constitutional Court is tomorrow in the afternoon expected to hear an application where the UPND wants the Speaker of the National Assembly to act as president until the petition is disposed of. Police in Lusaka today manhandled an artist, Lexus Piri, who staged a lawn protest at the Supreme Court. Piri staged a protest demanding that politicians should maintain peace for the sake of the future generation. While giving an interview to journalists, police officers came and manhandled the artist before ordering him to leave the premises. Earlier, Mr. Piri released 10 doves as a sign of promoting peace while attempting to display a placard. More in this report.
There was drama at the Supreme Court in Lusaka when an artist approached a group of reporters demanding to release 10 doves in their presence as a sign of peace in the country. Lexus Piri informed the reporters that the 10 doves represents the 10 provinces of Zambia. Mr. Piri demanded that politicians should promote peace for the sake of future generations. Efforts by this man to flash a placard could not be entertained as police officers moved in to flush him out. He was escorted to his car and asked to leave the Supreme Court premises.
For the children's sake, let's have peace. For the children's sake, let's have peace. Well, here, no, I'm non-partisan. I'm non-partisan and non-partisan. Let's just peace. You see? Let's have peace.
Mr. Piri wanted to put up his display despite the tight security situation at the Supreme Court. Police were all over the Supreme Court to maintain law and order as the Constitutional Court handles the presidential election petition. Hector Simfukwe, TV2 News in Lusaka.
In other news, President Edgar Lungu has fired Emmanuel Chuluba-Nama as Permanent Secretary for State House with immediate effect. In his letter addressed to Mr. Chuluba-Nama, dated August 29, 2016, the President informed him that his services had been terminated with immediate effect. The letter, which has been signed by President Lungu, has also been copied to Secretary to the Cabinet, Secretary to the Treasury and the Auditor General. President Lungu also wishes Mr. Chuluba-Nama the best in his future endeavors. This is according to a statement released to TV2 News in Lusaka today by the President's Special Assistant for Press and Public Relations, Amos Chanda. And President Lungu says he is committed to improving conditions in prisons. President Lungu says he will therefore expedite the construction of new correctional facilities across the country. Mr. Lungu says under the PF government, the prisons, which are now called Correctional Service, are receiving a lot of attention. He says this is because the PF government values all humans regardless of their conditions. President Lungu said this when he toured Lusaka Remand Prison today. He has, however, stated that improving conditions in prisons should not mean encouraging people to commit crimes. President Lungu says the visit is also devoid of politics because the Bible encourages visiting of the vulnerable, of which prisoners are among them. He has also assured the inmates that government will work with the courts to ensure speedy trials, as justice delayed is justice denied.
It is devoid of politics, because I realize that the Bible teaches us to visit those in prison. Whether you are rich or poor, you come here, you are equal. Those of us who are privileged to be leaders should reflect on what can we do for the needy, the poor, the weak, the widows, the prisoners, the orphans. You cannot continue like that under my watch, and we will expedite the construction of new correctional facilities in Lusaka West, where we are building an ultra-modern correctional center.
Correctional Service Regional Commander Lusaka Sainani Manda thanked President Lungu for the visit despite his busy schedule. He says it is a rare opportunity for a president in power to visit and interact with inmates. Livingston Acting District Commissioner Harriet Kawina says government appreciates the role the church continues to play in promoting peace and love in the country. Mrs. Kawina says the church has been instrumental in advocating for peace in the country, as witnessed in the just ended general election. She said this yesterday when the Voice of Salvation Ministries donated 100 bags of mealie meal to the needy in Dambwa Central Township of Livingston. Details in this report.
Joy is written all over their faces because apart from paying homage to the Lord, the Voice of Salvation Ministries has prepared a package for the needy in the area. The church in Livingston has donated 100 bags by 25 kilograms of mealie meal to the needy at a cost of 6,000 kwacha.
We shall also endeavor to continue advocating for peace and love in our country. A nation that is divided can't see development, and we shall stand in the gap and see to it that peace is preached to our church members, because political party members belong to different churches across the country.
Livingston Acting District Commissioner Harriet Kawina, who graced the occasion, has commended the church for its role in promoting peace.
As government, we greatly appreciate that the church has been very instrumental in being advocates of peace, as evidenced in the just ended general elections. we are all alive to the fact that the church plays a pivotal role of bringing mankind to Christ.
And the visibly needy have nothing but gratitude for the gesture.
Nisunga mofani panyumba tuliteni mamuna anga namwalira so nene ni dwala mendo silikwanza kusifonera chintu chili chonse so sikomo kwambiri mwandini lero nizakadi yako nsima na 3 days sinikuti asima
utabirawo koko mumufe chibupi mlena mulimo utusikize namachembere vamina mufile ndate mweza ngeona chwao kabutanimita mlena mulimo amituse.
Government is calling on more organizations to come on board and help government in its efforts to eradicate poverty in the country. Mombeha Mobola, ZNBC News in Livingstone.
Now, foreign heads of state have continued to congratulate President Lungu on his re-election as 6th president of Zambia. Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe has joined other leaders in congratulating President Lungu. In his congratulatory message dated August 19th, President Mugabe has expressed hearty congratulations to President Lungu and commended the Zambian people for making their democratic choice in a peaceful manner. The Zimbabwean president stated that the mandate that the people of Zambia have given to President Lungu reconfirms the high level of trust and confidence they have in his leadership. And Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud has also extended his congratulations to President Lungu and expressed best wishes for Zambia's continued stability, progress and prosperity. This is contained in a statement issued to ZNBC News by Special Assistant to the President for Press and Public Relations, Amos Chanda. We take our first commercial break. Still to come is more local as well as international news. Thank you for staying with us. 22 families in Nyango area of Sekongo District, Western Province have been displaced after fire swept through their houses, destroying property worth millions of kwacha and foodstuffs. Villagers affected are from Malemba area in Chief Luambo of the Nyango-speaking people. Chief Luambo, who confirms the development to Zanis today, explains that fire swept through the village around 11 hours on Friday and that the cause of the inferno has not yet been established. The traditional leader disclosed that no life was lost, but property worth millions of kwacha, including foodstuffs, had been gutted. Chief Luambo explained that his subjects have been left homeless and are spending nights in the cold. He has since appealed to the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit to immediately assist the affected villagers. Now, more than 9,000 marketeers and vendors have benefited from the Presidential Empowerment Initiative Fund. This is in 7 out of 10 provinces of Zambia. Presidential Empowerment Initiative Fund Manager Joe Chilinda says Central, Lusaka and Southern are the only provinces remaining to benefit from the Presidential Empowerment Initiative Fund, which his team is hoping to achieve by December 2016. Chilinda says the team is expected to have 16,000 marketeers and vendors benefit from the initiative program by December 2016. Meanwhile, Presidential Empowerment Initiative Fund patron Chanda Kabwe has warned swindlers who have been tricking marketeers to stop doing so, as the law will catch up with them. Mr. Kabwe said so far 2 people have been arrested in Kitwe in connection with the swindled marketeers in Lundazi and Katete.
Managed to arrest the Secretary General of NATMAS and his 3 colleagues, the people swindled the money of marketeers in the Eastern Province, that is Katete and Petauke. There was too much noise over these people went to swindle marketeers' money, and as I'm speaking now, these people have been arrested and they're in custody at Kitwe Central Police. Let me also take this opportunity to warn the people who want to take advantage of the Presidential Empowerment Initiative to swindle money from marketeers. We are not asking any contributions from who could be the beneficiary. As long as you are a trader and you are a marketeer, you are entitled to this Presidential Empowerment initiative.
But now to date, we have about 9,000 beneficiaries of the scheme, and they've benefited from cash loans, they've benefited from bicycle loans, they've benefited from motorcycle loans, and a few have benefited from motor vehicle loans. We have a target of about 16,000 beneficiaries by December this year, and in order for us to realize that plan, we put in that does not just only take resources to empower such people. We put in interventions to the extent that we've signed an MOU with one of the commercial banks. We'll be rolling out agencies which will run on behalf of this commercial bank, and we're going to give our product offering on the back of the agencies that this commercial bank that we partnered with is going to put out in all the major markets throughout the country.
Also in the news, the Professional Teachers Union of Zambia, PRETUZ, has urged newly recruited teachers to report to their stations as scheduled. PRETUZ General Secretary Kangwa Msenge says teachers should not shun rural areas where they have been posted. Mr. Msenge regretted that some teachers have been shunning rural areas on the pretext of witchcraft. He also appealed to government to consider employing more teachers. Mr. Msenge was speaking in an interview with TV2 News in Lusaka today. We take another break. Still ahead is international and sports news. Keep watching TV2. Welcome back. In international news, Gabon's main opposition candidate has claimed victory over President Ali Bongo in Saturday's poll alleging electoral fraud. Jean Ping, ex-head of the African Union Commission, said he was waiting for the president to call and congratulate him. Mr. Bongo, whose family has governed for nearly 50 years, has called for calm and for people to wait for official results on Tuesday. Gabon is a major oil producer but still has high levels of poverty. The head of the African Union Election Observer Mission in Gabon, Kassam Ultim, told BBC Focus on Africa that he was not worried by the uncertainty. Ali Bongo won disputed elections in 2009 following the death of his father, Omar Bongo, who led the small West African nation for 41 years. We're now bring to you sports news, and coming up in sports news with Chico Mukoka, President Edgar Lungu extols Catherine Phiri. Join us for details in this after this break. Chico, good evening. How are you doing?
Thank you very much, Navalia.
We have a lot in sports. I know that the weekend was full of boxing.
Boxing took center stage, and Catherine Phiri successfully retained her title, and it's not surprising that the Republican president has congratulated her for her exploits.
Indeed. Let's get to find out what the details are in sports.
Thank you very much. And now sports news in detail. President Edgar Lungu says he is impressed with the performance of Catherine Phiri, who successfully defended the World Boxing Council WBC Bantamweight Gold title. And President Lungu says he will be meeting the new Minister of Sports to chart the way forward on how to recognize the boxers' contribution to sports in Zambia. The president has since congratulated Catherine for retaining the title. President Lungu was speaking in an interview with TV2 Sports News in Lusaka today.
I watched that fight and I was alone watching it, but you know, noisy, what do you call those people who make too much noise? It's better silence is golden. She proved that let's talk more week. Yeah. I think we're very proud of her. I'll be meeting the new Minister of Sport to be so that we can talk about how we can recognize in practical terms her contribution. I understand the late president promised her something, but I'll have to check. But we are proud of her. Very proud indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
On Saturday, Catherine defended her World Boxing Council WBC Bantamweight Gold title against South African boxer Gibisile Shabalala via technical knockout in a bout which lasted less than a minute. Government has commended Education Through Sport, EduSport, for its efforts in using sports to empower the girl child in the country. Director of Sports in the Ministry of Youth and Sport, Bessie Chelemo, says EduSport, like like other non-governmental organizations, has played a major role in empowering girls in communities. Chelemu was speaking when she saw off 16 teams from Lusaka that will be participating in this year's annual Go Sisters Under-16 sports tournament set for August 30 to 31st in Petauke. We have details in this report. They have come from various communities within the capital city, Lusaka, to go and take part in the 15th annual Go Sisters sports tournament. These are the young girls from 16 teams that will participate in various sports disciplines on Tuesday and Wednesday in Petauke. Seeing them off was Director of Sports, Bessie Chelemu, who encouraged the girls to take sports seriously.
Yeah. Iringiri na abantu balanda tawa ma sports fi kopo bufi. You know why babere fi kopo? Bantu mu class tabaya. Elo tababerenga. But science, Marishba science, now research has proved that sport contributes to your intellectual capacity.
Chelemu also urged the girls to take advantage of the education empowerment programs EduSport is offering them.
Baba EduSport, Go Sisters, bakupela opportunity. Ukutira ubere kuskulu, bale milipirira kuskulu, ama uniform bale kulipirira, bale kutwala na kuma sports. Ushe kutuwaka no kubombesha. Na ku college kuine baka mitwalai.
And some girls, especially those participating for the first time, are looking forward to the tournament.
Kuchira uti nikangale nkazikika muchani mukomboni sibeta nzicha bola na sawa na ngwankala na mamimba shanshan so ine vinsta ko prevent kuivo vaso.
Nimvela munje kutea football because nipanga go future mu life yangu.
Nimvela bwino, that is why natrain hard and nista expect to zanda to win na timu yangu.
Anga tsinite ya bola so banzanga monga group influence wangazinista influence voipa.
With female world boxing champion Catherine Peary excelling both in the ring and at school, many of these girls are inspired to reach higher heights in their dream career. Chikom Koka, reporting for TV2 Sports News in Lusaka. Finally, on this segment, judo coach Saidi Kawambe says he is confident that the judokas that are currently in camp at the Olympic Youth Development Center will be ready for the Region 5 games slated for Angola in December. Kabambe says the judokas will be in residential camp for 8 days before breaking. He says the team is also preparing for future international competitions such as the 2018 Youth Olympics and the 2020 Olympics. Kabambe says he is targeting to reap medals at the Region 5 games.
Coming up, because we are preparing for the Region 5 under this PPP program. We've got 8 days for training in camp, and these judokas here is not only Region 5. We are preparing these judokas for Bahamas next year in June. That's Jamaica, and some is we are preparing them for the Olympics 2020, and some is Junior Olympics, which is 2018. Yeah.
Well, that's all we had for you on this segment. Join us again next week on Monday for more interesting sports stories. I'm Chikom Koka, taking you back to Nabalia with the headlines.
Thank you so much, Chico, for giving us the sports news. Let's now find out what we have in the headlines as we end the news. 29 parliamentary electoral petitions have been filed in the Lusaka High Court. Petitioners have disputed the election of the declared members of parliament. President Edgar Lungu has fired Emmanuel Chilubanama as Permanent Secretary for State House with immediate effect. In his letter addressed to Mr. Chilubanama dated August 29, 2016, the President informed him that his services had been terminated with immediate effect. 22 families in Nyengo area of Sikongo District, Western Province have been displaced after fire swept through their houses, destroying property with millions of kwacha and foodstuffs. Villagers affected are from Malemba area in Shifluambo of the Nyengo-speaking people. That's it for the news at 18 hours. We'll have more news for you at 20 hours. My name is Nawali Ablahakis. Thank you for watching and God bless.